Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. And yes, we are going back to our Medicaid series today, specifically covering Medicaid's role in regards to housing, specifically that of assisted living apartments. This is going to be the final one for that particular area of the Medicaid series. After that, we're going to be going in regards to different types of housing with in regards to Medicaid funding, in particular with an eye on things such as group homes and different types of residential facilities, nursing homes, medically fragile, different types of housing, and what that funding looks like, how that comes out of Medicaid as well. But before we do, brief disclaimers. Everything in regards to what we've been going through during the Medicaid series, you're going to find direct links to them right there in the description box. So if you would like to do a deeper dive into the situation yourself, please feel free to do so. Also, folks, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We do use profanity, and some of the topics we cover on this channel are pretty dark. So if your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, parental supervision is advised. If you are ultra MAGA or ultra Democrat, more than likely during the course of this series or one of the others that are on this channel, I will be saying something that is probably going to offend you. If that is not something that you handle well, I would suggest to go ahead and stop the video now. I do still encourage you to take a look at the links inside the description so you can get the information for yourself. It will certainly not hurt my feelings, and it will spare everyone a whole bunch of hurt feelings, alright? Okay, so we're to the last part. We're going to go over health services initiatives right now. And I'm not going to tell you it's going to be short because it just might not be, but I'm going to try to make it so because apparently there is a stupid pool party that I may have to put in a very brief time period of being around people, and I'm going to need to get that done sooner rather than later because I'm going to Silver Dollar City tomorrow and I have to get up at stupid o'clock in the morning. So, let's get started. States can use some of their CHIP funding to implement health services initiatives, HSIS, that improve the health of low-income children under the age of 19 who are eligible for CHIP or Medicaid. HSIs must directly address the health of the children eligible for Medicaid or CHIP, but may serve children regardless of household income. States are also encouraged to use approved HSI to enroll eligible but unenrolled children into Medicaid or CHIP. I'll be honest, I'm not really familiar with the CHIP program quite as much as I am in regards to Medicaid and some of the waivers we've already gone over. So I think this is going to be more of something that I'm going to allow it to speak for itself here. Generally, the HSIs approved by CMS have addressed services related to public health interventions and prevention, such as poison control and youth violence prevention. That's CMS 2017A. However, some states, including Michigan and Maryland, are using HSIs to address and reduce childhood lead poisoning, including through lead abatement activities. I'm a little bit more familiar with that because it helps with the funding of cleaning up areas that has known lead poisoning. It's not something that we use quite as often anymore, but it definitely was something when I was a little bit younger, when I was actually still in school, because Missouri, for years and years and years, was one of the main lead mining states of the Union. So there's still issues that crop up here and there. States seeking approval to implement such activities must meet certain criteria, such as using state-certified individuals to perform abatement services that have been proven to be effective in removing lead hazards. The program must be time-limited because there are no statewide requirements for CHIP. States may target their lead abatement programs to specific communities that have been heavily affected by lead exposure. In our cases, that's usually certain towns, usually the smaller ones that were really the boom towns back in Missouri's lead mining days. Out here, places such as around the General High School / middle school out in the Millermo area in particular, and some places like that. Usually in the more rural communities that used to be big towns but shrank a lot after, lead poisoning became more important than lead mining. To respond to the crisis associated with lead-tainted water in Flint, Michigan, the state received approval in 2016 for a Section of 1115 demonstration to expand Medicaid coverage for pregnant women and children who are or were served by the Flint water supply between April 2014 and a date to be determined in the future. So if you have possibly received lead poisoning due to it being in the water system or whatever has gone on that has caused the contamination, some of the funding goes into providing the medical care you may need due to that type of contact. To complement the demonstration, CMS approved an HSI authorizing $24 million per year for 5 years to reduce lead hazards in Flint and other parts of the state. Activities approved under the HSI include removing lead-based paint and lead dust hazards, removing and replacing surfaces or fixtures identified as lead hazards, removing or covering soil lead hazards, pre-abatement testing activities, and workforce training. Does anybody want to bet that the individuals who are MAGA Republicans know that Medicaid funding is used to help cover the health care of those who have had bad exposures to lead? There might be one or two, but I'm going to say the vast majority of them probably don't. And this is exactly my point. They have no idea how many programs actually receive Medicaid funding, why they receive it, and how is it implemented. They're just using a chainsaw, which can cause a horrific domino effect that can undo multiple decades of progress, not in just areas of disability rights, but also helping to combat poverty. That's why I do the things that I do, folks. We're going to go ahead and get this finished out here. Maryland's Medicaid program partnered with the Department of Environment and Department of Housing and Community Development to implement an HSI in state FY 2018 to reduce lead poisoning and improve asthma treatment. The HSI's two-pronged approach includes expanded lead identification and abatement and environmental case management for certain Medicaid and CHIP beneficiaries. Children under the age of 19 who are enrolled in or may be eligible for CHIP or Medicaid and who have elevated blood lead levels are eligible for services. Properties in which an eligible child resides or spends more than 10 hours a week can be assessed for the presence of lead. This includes rental properties, owner-occupied properties, and residential daycare facilities. So, for example, if at the ARC daycare facility just about half a block away from OTC here was found to have lead contamination, the funding that comes through Medicaid would help cover anybody who manifested health problems, but manifests as health poisoning problems due to that lead exposure. Medicaid funding would take care of the medical treatment costs to be able to deal with that. Properties in which an eligible child resides or spends more than 10 hours a week can be assessed for the presence of lead. It's why I mentioned the day programs. This includes rental properties, owner-operated properties, or residential daycare facilities. If the presence of lead is found, a lead abatement contractor will remediate the property and abatement will be confirmed by a lead inspector. In select jurisdictions, children enrolled in or eligible for Medicaid or CHIP who are diagnosed with persistent, moderate to severe asthma and those with elevated blood lead levels are able to receive additional case management services. So, that pretty much covers that, and that gives us pretty decent groundwork here in regards to how Medicaid funding assists in situations such as assisted living, apartments, things that have to do with poisoning hazards, things of that nature. So we're going to go again and close out on this one, folks. Look at that. I actually did manage to make it short for once. We don't get very many views on this channel, and the few we do get tend to get removed from time to time. So folks, if you would be so kind, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and as always, folks, don't forget to get the comments. I absolutely do appreciate your time, and as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Now, if y'all excuse me, I'm going to have to put in a brief appearance at the dumb pool party and then hightail it back on in here with my free food so I can get to bed early and go to Silver Dollar City. And folks, if you haven't been, speaking of me being an absolutely shameless and unpaid shill of Worsen Entertainment, if you haven't been to Silver Dollar City this year, you guys, you've gotta go. We've got the Bluegrass Festival coming up with, we call it the Taste Passport, where essentially you can have different people, different types of barbecuing that you can be found all over the park. You can go from stand to stand with your little passport. The pulled pork is awesome. I'm just putting it out there. I like the pulled pork, especially in the park, because me trying to eat the just regular barbecued chicken gets everywhere, every time. Usually worth it, but not so much when you end up wearing it on your shirt. You gotta go. The summer festival is coming up. They've got some new live acts getting ready to come in. It's just, and we're right at the very end of spring festival. They've got some amazing flowers and some really cool hands-on in regards to helping others with planting that is new this year. So if you ever get the chance, go ahead and go check out Silver Dollar City. You type it in Google, it will pop up right up for you. And of course, we are, as of right now, looking at Silver Dollar City for another year in a row of being America's #1 theme park. So get out there and try it sometime, folks. You have a great one. Bye-bye now.